Just to start with, it's certainly a tale of two halves for our team, and it reflected a little bit of what our practice looked like on just yesterday, actually. So, and that was a big message to the team, is that we have to first of all practice well consistently. We focused a lot on playing hard all the time. I thought we played fairly hard tonight. And then, we also talk about it's not just okay to play hard, you have to play well. And, the first half, I think we missed some good looks that we had. And then I thought some guys tried to make some plays that we don't need them to make. Just kind of did a little more than they needed to. Certainly the second half, we settled in, did some really good stuff offensively. Tyler Rice was terrific in the second half, facilitating offense for us. Ben White did a great job tonight of just competing and finished around the rim. And I was certainly, pleased with the fact that we bounced back in the second half like we did, but have a long ways to go, to get ourselves to play a complete game.
Okay. And I know a loss is a loss and everything, but do you feel a lot better after the way they did come back in the second half than you would have been if it continued the way it was? Probably a dumb question now that I ask it, but not the first one I've asked, but go ahead.
Yeah, I guess if the second half would have been a lot like the first, I would probably feel worse than I do now. Again, I think it's the result of the game is a small part of this right now for us. And to me, it goes back to the first thing I said of just, we have to practice well all the time. And if we do that, then we have a chance we can play well all the time. I do think in the first half, maybe some of it was a little bit of nerves and guys getting their first taste of college basketball with fans, which was for the vast majority of the guys we had out there. But settling in and playing the way we did in the second half was certainly, a real positive for us. But it's obviously not nearly, good enough to come down here and play like we did in the first half. We have to be better than that.
Did you challenge them or anything like that at halftime to turn things around and make this not a blowout or something? Maybe not in those words, but
yeah, it was a little bit of a two-part message. The first part was it wasn't like we didn't play hard in the first half. I didn't think we played with as much activity as we needed to. I thought defensively we stood back and we didn't pressure the ball. We didn't have our hands active like we talk about. And it was very easy to play against us. And so we talked about that from a defensive standpoint. To me, the biggest issue in the first half obviously were the turnovers, because we were turning it over every way you could. I mean, we were throwing it away when we were just trying to make a simple reversal pass. We were throwing it away when we were trying to drive in there and kick to a guy, and we were turning it over when we had an advantage and had a 4-on-3 look or something like that. So from that standpoint, that was a little bit more of just everyone take a deep breath, relax, make the right play. We had some really good opportunities out there in the first half, didn't capitalize on it, and just talked about, make the simple plays, shoot the ball with confidence. And I thought our guys responded well to that in the second half and certainly played with much more activity on the defensive end.
You mentioned Tyler. You look at his numbers overall and they're pretty solid, but in the second half, as you said, 7 assists, no turnovers for a freshman in his first game at an ACC place. If you would just talk a little further about what he gave you today.
Yeah, I thought he gave us an unbelievable lift in the second half, and probably more than anything, he just had a great look about him out there and had a confidence and a swagger that I loved seeing from him. He is a really tough kid to cover in ball screens because he can really see the floor. He's got great pace. He can shoot threes, so he can stop behind it. So he's not a guy. A lot of times guys that have that ability to pass and see the floor like he can, you say, well, let's just run underneath that guy and make him score over the top. But he did. I think he made, I know he made 1 3, made 2 threes tonight, made 2 threes tonight. So he really gave us a good lift offensively.
Lewis and Haddon had their moments too, it looked like.
They did. Yeah, I thought, again, probably for both of them in the first half, just everything was a little faster, as it usually is when you first go out there. And and they got sped up a little bit, or weren't as sure with the ball when they had it. And then second half, settled in, and Julian did a nice job getting in the paint, made some good passes, made some finishes, had a good three, and LT did a really nice job on the ball screens. He was a recipient of a lot of what Tyler was able to facilitate. Finished around the rim a couple of times, and that was good to see from both those guys.
LT, I'm taking that's Hatton.
LT, yeah, sorry, that's Langdon.
Gotcha. And Ben, first game of the season, but it's again an ACC team, and he mixed it up in there with 18, I think, and made his free throws, which he's usually pretty good at that. But did you see a lot of progress in the off season with him?
Yeah, Ben has been one of our better players ever since the summer. He plays with such a high motor. He gives you everything he's got on both ends of the floor. And, he obviously was going against some pretty big physical guys tonight. He had the benefit of going against Nathan Knight and Andy Van Vliet when he was a freshman in practice, and that helped prepare him for this. He's been really good, really all summer, all fall. And for him to produce like he did tonight, battling those guys was great to see.
I would imagine that, much like everyone on your team, he had the benefit of off-season conditioning that he didn't have last year.
Yeah, that certainly helped with him a lot, because a big part of it for him was just becoming more physical, putting some weight on, putting some strength on. And Ray Eady's done a great job with him, our strength coach, and he's really committed himself to it, and that certainly has helped when it comes to playing games with the physicality this one did.
So you got one day off, and then, well, not off, but one day, and then you play again. You kind of like having a quick turnaround this early?
I don't know if I like it or not, because it's going to be, a pretty late night getting home tonight, and then, turning around and getting ready for a pretty tough team to prepare for an American. So, we already talked about it in the locker room afterwards and said we got to start our preparation for American right now. And our guys need to understand that we're going to have to play every bit as hard and every bit as well as we did in the second half to beat a team like American. So it's going to be a quick turnaround. We're going to need guys to be ready, really focused in tomorrow, and then get ourselves ready to go for our home opener, which we're certainly really excited for.